Alex Mbianda has spoken so boldly and so sure about the abduction of our leaders and points the finger straight to Millan Atam. We should all remember that in common law, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. The accuser has the burden to show the evidence and proof. Alex Mbianda came to give us answers because he has so much intelligence and contacts that he knows exactly who carried the act, when it was planned, and how. We should all rally behind Alex Mbianda to give us more answers and clues. Let us analyze part of his video. You will be the judge when it's done.
I come to you not with questions, but I come to you with some details about what I know about what went on or what is going on. Because I've asked a lot of questions like a lot of people, and I've come to some conclusions. The Nigerian government did not arrest our people. The Nigerian government is as embarrassed as us that one of us will arrange for our people to be picked up in Nigeria.
To Alex Mbianda, the Nigerian government did not arrest our people. Normally, the general impression among Amazonians right from the early hours after news of the abductions first broke is that the act was masterminded by the Cameroonian authorities and rogue elements of the Nigerian security services without the knowledge of the Nigerian president. Mbianda opens his propaganda video with this already established message in a desperate attempt to gain the confidence of his listeners. Then he immediately launches into the main thrust of his propaganda by accusing Milan of betraying our leaders. Mbianda says the Nigerian government is embarrassed that one of us will arrange for our people to be picked up in Nigeria. This is an attempt to further consolidate his lie by placing it in the mouths of the Nigerian authorities. Who is the Nigerian authority that gave Mbianda this information? That is the missing link. Mbianda has to give evidence. If not, it is just another lie.
Milan came online the very next day after he woke up from his slumber, which he claimed he was sleeping, and said this. The plan was for them to be taken directly to La Republique.
Was the first time Milan did speak of our leaders was on the 7th of January, and there is a video on his Facebook profile which we did on that day. On that video, he never talked about our leaders being taken to Yaoundé. The only time Milan did talk again about the arrest of our leaders was on the 17th of January. And it is here that he did talk about how, as the days were going, they realized that Yaoundé was playing to get our people taken over. And then they were trying everything to ensure that this doesn't happen. So Alex has just given two lies, one sentence. If not, we are asking Alex Mbianda to provide evidence. He is just lying. On the interview he gave to Amber Perspective on the 17th of January, talking where he mentioned the statement, our leaders were being planned to be taken over to Yaoundé. Follow this line carefully and you will see that Alex Mbianda twisted the words.
Of course, over the next few nights it became a game of cat and mouse. But it was also important for me then that no matter what happened, I needed to stay on, try and ensure that the groundwork was laid, for instance, to ensure that we got the proper legal coverage for our compatriots, for our leader who was in jail. We needed to get a network of high-profile individuals who could make calls to high quarters and start to knock on doors. We needed to ensure at the time when it was very clear that Yaoundé was manipulating and doing everything to get them across, we needed to ensure that we continue to lobby and campaigning to ensure that they were not taken over. So the next few days, about 3 or 4 days of me being there, while keeping a low profile, included meeting with lawyers, liaising and updating the cabinet members on a daily basis, trying to also put in place a small team of individuals who could be monitoring the situation. And that is how we were able to puncture the move that Yaoundé was making at the time to try and get them across.
Amazonians, you've just listened to Milan's statement. Now, we are asking, where did Alex Mbianda get this version? And we are also asking, why is he so desperate to put the focus on Millan? And why is he so desperate that in doing so, he's been telling lies upon lies? And unfortunately, the lay Amazonian who doesn't know is believing in the lies. If Alex Mbianda is not lying, we keep asking him to provide evidence of what he said.
He had woke up from his slumber, which he claimed he was sleeping, and said this. Their plan was for them to be taken directly to La Republique. But yet you knew the plan was to take them to La Republique. How did you, Millan, know that the plan was to take them to La Republique? You said it in your own words.
Alex Mbianda with Francophone agents. In the next short clip, Alex Mbianda claims that he was given information that Millan Atam was meeting with La Republique, the Cameroon government ministers in South Africa. We are asking Alex Mbianda to provide the evidence to the IG and the team of any investigators. We are asking South Africa to verify if at all Millan was meeting with RRC agents. We are asking Chris Eno'o to speak up to the connections Alex Mbianda is drawing up here and using him as backup. As of now, Alex Mbianda have made only claims with no evidence. Amazonians, watch out. He has lied in his previous claims. Is it possible he is lying here again? Be the judge.
I want to tell you that there are people within La Republique government, Francophones, who do not like what is going on in southern Cameroon. And so every now and then, one of them will sneak out some information to say to us, be careful. We had an information of Millan meeting with La Republique government members in South Africa. I, Alex Mbianda, personally took that information to Chris Eno'o. And I said to Chris Eno'o, make sure you inform Sisiko to not go to any meeting. And it's particularly arranged by Millan. And Chris Eno'o said Millan is not a member of the government, let alone organizing a meeting that people will be going to. And I spoke very strongly to tell Sisiko to not go to any meeting. I did not have specifics.
In the next scene, Alex Mbianda reveals some information here which we should listen to carefully. Watch his body language and eye blink. Why should Alex be confessing that if he tells us Amazonians that he knew about the plan, then he is lying to us? Alex Mbianda was talking about a meeting. Why did he switch to confess that if he tells us that he knew about the plan, he will be telling us a lie? What made him say so? Why did this just pop up? Is it just an accident? Why is Alex Mbianda quickly confessing that he says he knew the plan, he's lying to us? Alex Mbianda surely has more to tell us. Be the judge.
If I tell you that I knew the plan, then I'm lying to you. If I tell you that I knew the plan, then I'm lying to you. I want to address the issue very critically. When Millan got to the hotel, our leaders were not there, as he claimed. He went to bed and slept. Why will you come to a meeting, Mr. Millan Atam? A meeting, you know that when we hold such meetings, it usually goes into the weirdest hour of the morning before we can stop. And you did not see people, and you claimed that you thought they were drinking somewhere in the restaurant, and you were tired and you went to bed.
Amazonians, again Alex has made some claims here we have to listen to carefully. Alex Mbianda initially was talking about a meeting, then he came and talked about a plan. Now his claim he's talking about the meeting here, revealing that when they hold such meetings, they will hold to the late hours of the morning. Now, how come Alex Mbianda know exactly the meeting that was supposed to be holding and knows exactly how long it was supposed to last? Did this information just pop up? The next thing is, let's listen carefully to what Millan said when he arrived into the hotel and didn't see his comrades. Let's listen carefully to his account and compare it to what Alex Mbianda is trying to represent here.
So when I got to the hotel, the gentleman who picked me up from the airport took me to the back of the hotel by the lake where they were supposed to be sitting. And we did a quick scan and walked around all the way to the different angles of the restaurant, the bar, and realized that nobody was there. So he said it's possible that they might have finished the meeting and gone to another venue to have drinks. So he would call them so that we can join them. And I told him there is no way I can join them. I've been traveling already for over 24 hours. I'm tired. All I need right now is some food and some sleep. So he accompanied me to the reception. We had our check-in, and I went to bed.
Claims Gima, who is the brother of one of our leaders, were planning to run away after the abduction. In the next clip, Mbianda claims the following. The guy who was driving Millan was the same guy who wanted to drive him to the border. Millan and the guy who drove him were planning to run away and no one will know. People do not know that the person who drove Millan, Gima, is the brother of Dr. Kimeng, who is one of our adopted leaders. If they were planning to run, why did they stay behind? Why is he just speculating? Is he saying Gima planned for his brother to be abducted? Where are the evidence that they were planning to run away? He should show us evidence.
The plan, yes, was that they were going to escape with the car, that nobody would be able to tell what the license plate was. That's why they were pulled over.
Atam Millan came to realize that the leaders were arrested, and what he did after that. Did he try to run, or did he try to come up with something to help rescue them? Listen carefully to the next clip and you'll see that the previous claim by Alex Mbianda that Millan was planning to run away is just another false claim.
These two, the fact that I was calling myself and they were not picking up but their phones were ringing, and I was calling through WhatsApp, still using my foreign phone number, and the fact that somebody is now telling me that they are trying to get hold of them and they are not able to get hold of them. For me, that was a bit of a concern. Just afternoon, I went down back to the back of the restaurant and ordered some food. And just as I was about to start, I was drinking. Then the gentleman who had picked me up from the airport came, and that's when as he sat down, he said, I got a call last night. I got a call this morning from somebody who told me that last night he got a call from Dr. Fidelis Ndeche saying that he's in Abuja and he's been arrested by the SSS. But he wasn't sure if he was arrested in his house or somewhere else. But already for me, my brain was beginning to tick. Now, here are the phones that are not going through. Here is this story of Fidelis having been arrested. And so I started to try and put two and two together. And just then, a young man who was working a waiter at the restaurant was narrating the ordeal of the last night to his friend. And that's when we called him over and said, what happened? And he told us that men armed to the teeth just walked through the restaurant terrace all the way down to where they were sitting by the lake. And it seems as if they knew exactly where they were going because they didn't hesitate. They didn't look left or right. They just went straight to them and got them. At the time, he still thought there were about 6 or 7 people. We did our count and drew our own conclusions. Of course, later on, we realized that the number was bigger than that. And as soon as we got that, the first thing was, okay, these people have been arrested, and we were told by the SSS, so we need to start making some phone calls. So immediately, I got the young man, the other young man who accompanied him, myself, and we started making calls to some high quarters within Nigeria, some people we know whom we know can open some doors, and we called them straight away and said, listen, here is the situation, you need to intervene. Please make some phone calls, tell us where our compatriots are, tell us also what we need to do to get them out. At the time in my mind, I was thinking, we need to keep this hush-hush. Our leadership has been arrested. We need to find a way to get them, even if it means we go there, pay for the bail, so that somehow we try and contain this. But when I made a call, I realized that the information was already circulating within the Singer network. So for me, that was already one problem that we needed to contain. So we made a few calls, and once the calls were made, I then turned and I think I made a call to one of the members of cabinet and said, this is the situation we are faced with. Please inform the cabinet and see if they can convene an emergency meeting and start taking emergency measures. Once we had done all the calls and were satisfied that we had spoken to all the key people.
Longe. For no play where you dey go, you must no play where you come out to. Ambazonia ne want for no. side way then come on.
If I tell you that I knew the plan, then I'm lying to you. If I tell you that I knew the plan, then I'm lying to you.
Longe. For no play where you dey go, you must no play where you come out to. Ambazonia ne want for no, side way then come on.